is. She is the most incredible person I've ever met. So much like my dad. Oh, and don't tell her that I told you this, because she's going to kill me, especially if you print it. She is the cleanest freak I've ever met in my life. She truly is. Everything is meticulous in her house. Everything's in its own spot. And once I went over to her place, and she was vacuuming the driveway, and that's not a lie. But you didn't hear it from me. My brother John was my protector. He's only a year older than me, so when I was dating, it was like, oh, God, they didn't pass John, there was no go. It was not going to happen. We learned music together. He played the bass, I played guitar, so we always played music in our family. My dad played sax and clarinet. We've always had music in our lives. Now I worry about him because he's in the last stages of leukemia. But that's the way life goes. I was 20 months old when Jim was born. Of course, I don't remember anything. I do know that even though Jim has the initials JC, there were no reports of shining stars hovering over the maternity ward. And Pat has no memory of shepherds or wise men arriving on camels bearing gifts. Just want to set that straight. As far as we know, he could have been dropped by Martians. That could explain why all the characters he plays are green. The Mask, the Grinch, and the Riddler. I once asked him, how come all the characters you play are green? And he said, it's the color of money. And he laughed. Jim has made me laugh his entire life. Just like my dad. I knew he would be famous. When I was 10 years old, I had a dream that he was bigger than Elvis. And he was 8 at the time. So we always knew that's what he was born to do. When my mom asked him one time to take the wet clothes down to the laundry room, we lived in an apartment building, he was gone a very short time, came back really quickly. And my mom said, what the heck? Did you take the laundry down to the laundry room? He said, laundry? I thought it was garbage. She goes, well, what did you think I gave you the quarter for? He said, a tip? If you asked him now, he'd say, hey, it's all comedy, baby. After that, my mom said, well, you got to go get the clothes. So Jim got to go dumpster diving to get the clothes back, and maybe that's why they do on Mars. Maybe that's what they do on Mars. I don't know. I suppose Jim would say today, it's all comedy. Growing up was always interesting. When I started dating, I met my future husband. And don't laugh at the picture. He does look like Al Yankovic, I know. But my parents decided that maybe we should meet his parents. You know, they wanted to make sure that they were normal, sane, upstanding. So we met Joe and Jan. They arrived. We were all having a pleasant visit when my baby brother decided to make an appearance. Suddenly, we heard yelling at the top of the stairs. It was something from a movie, I thought. He was yelling, no, Cato, no. Then we heard thumping. We all looked over to see, through the banister, my 12-year-old brother tumbling head over heels, spilling out into the living room. We all laughed. But my father-in-law, my future father-in-law, jumped up and ran over and went, oh my God, are you okay? My dad just grabbed him by the arm and said, Joe, sit down. He does it all the time. Then Jim stood up, Jim jumped up, and he goes, my name is Inspector Clouseau of the Sûreté. And I would like to do that in slow motion. It's a terrible French accent, but whatever. He didn't wait for us to answer. He began rolling slowly up the stairs. Pretty difficult to do. And when he got to the top of the stairs, he began yelling again. This time in slow motion. No, kiddo. No. And then he started to roll slowly down the stairs to the bottom going, ooh, ah, ee, all the way down the stairs. My father-in-law, my future father-in-law, was laughing so hard I thought him and my future mother-in-law were going to pee their pants. It was hilarious. And again, my dad just looked at him and goes, hey, live with them. So much for my mom and dad wanting to make sure Al's parents were normal. Did the tables get turned on them? As I grew older, I wanted my children to see that with the unified Carrey theory, anything is possible. When my eldest son Marty was 4, he said, Mom, you should sing for a living. You can play. And I said, when you can play guitar, I will sing. When he was 18, he booked us in a club to do 4 songs without telling me. That was on a Tuesday, and Friday night we were going to go play. I'm like, are you kidding me? But I made a promise. At the same time, I started singing on my transit bus. It was a dare. It was Christmas time. Somebody said, hey, I'm handing out Christmas songbooks, and the woman goes, if you sing one, I'll sing one. I said, sure. So then I did. It caught on. God only knows what happens when you open your mouth. Really. It caught on. Media came out. I had newspapers on my bus. CHCH came out. Global, all kinds of people. And then next thing I knew, I got an agent. And I'm singing at a Labor Day Classic game for the Ticats and Toronto Argonauts. I'm singing for the Buffalo Bills. I'm like, what is going on here? And it was just an interesting time. Oh my gosh, it was crazy. And because of that, I started doing CD singing, backup singing for people on their CDs. I went to a CD release party at Hamilton Place, and I met a radio station. They said, you should come out and sing on our station. I said, okay, sounds good. Whatever, I'm always up for a challenge. I went out and sang, and afterwards talked to them all morning long live on the air, and the owner said, you should do radio for a living. I said, make me an offer. 2 months later, I was working there. And I've been there for 10 years now. My other 2 sons, Mike and Matt, decided they wanted to join the band, and we all started playing clubs together. It was the modern Partridge Family. It was kind of weird. I'm like, you want your mother to sing with you? And they're like, yeah, you're the best singer we know. I'm like, okay, sounds good. The only reason I have a career in radio today is because my son Marty, because of his perseverance, because he kept bugging me that I should do this. On June 2nd, 2005, Marty was killed in a freak car crash. He was on his way to our house to practice band. The accident happened on a narrow stretch of road that the city had not maintained. And along with the unbearable grief and sorrow, there was anger for something that was preventable. A 7-year battle ensued after that, in part by anger, and more because no loved ones in our country need to die because cities didn't look after their roads.